Recently, I made the decision to start making my posts more consistent on Instagram and organise my posts better, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. How's it going, everyone? Hope you liked that little intro. Today's video is going to be all about how to organise your Instagram feed and make it look as consistent as possible. Now, the way that I go about doing this is through InDesign, which is part of the Adobe suite. And I know Adobe offers a package that caters specifically towards photographers, which doesn't include InDesign, so pre-warning, this video might not be for you. However, do not fret, there are plenty of tutorials out there that use the likes of Photoshop and even smartphone apps to produce the results that I'm going to show to you today. I just prefer to use InDesign because I find it easier and I'm allowed to be a lot more creative with it. Now, to all the people still here who do have InDesign, then this is the video for you. And what I'm going to be showing you is how to set up a mock grid of your Instagram feed and how you're able to swap images in and out and see which photos are working well together and which photos might need changing. Right, let's get started. So first of all, what you're going to do is open InDesign and you're going to wait for that to open. This might take a while, tends to, depends how quick your computer is. There we go, perfect. Right, so what you're going to do first is you're going to go to File, New, and Document. And from here, you might get a selection of choices to choose from. But what we're going to do, we're going to go over to here, and what I usually do, I just put in 500 by 500. Then all you do is go over to Create, and you'll get this blank canvas. The reason why I just choose to have it square is because Instagram, it's always square, so it just makes sense, but doesn't really matter what size you have it at. So from here, what we're going to do is create our grid. So we're going to go over to the toolbar. We're going to click the rectangle tool. So we'll click it, bring it over to your blank canvas. What you're going to do on your keyboard is press Shift, and then you're just going to drag out a square. Now, the reason why we hold Shift is if I take off Shift, I can do any shape I want, but Shift holds it and it turns it into a square. And then from there, we're going to select the box by just clicking it or dragging and selecting it. Then on the keyboard again, press Command C and Command V to duplicate it. We're going to do that 8 more times. 6, 7, 8. Either way, in the end, you're going to end up with 9 squares. And straight away, you're already starting to see our grid come to life. Now, what I tend to do is just highlight them all, then press Command G to group all of them. So if I press it and click it, all of them will move. Then if you just want a square to move, do Command Shift Group, and that ungroups them. And then you can start to move all of them again. But for this, highlight them all, Command G to group, select it, and plop it in the center. Now, you'll start to see that some pink guidelines start to come up, and that's because I've got smart guides on. If you don't have it on, go over to View, Grids and Guides, and turn on these 3 options. So lock column guides, snap to guides, and smart guides. That's what I tend to use. Quick keyboard shortcut. If you're zoomed in and you want to come all the way out to see the whole canvas, do Option, Command, and 0. And that will just bring out the whole canvas, just so that you can see everything. So that is our template for our grid. And now all it is a case of is bringing in your pictures that you're planning to put on Instagram. So what you can do is select a square, Command D, and that's going to bring up your hard drive. And then you would go to your images or wherever you've put them. So, I don't know, let's pick the recent trip that I did to Hongli. You'll see all my pictures here. So, I don't know, we can pick that one. And then from here, you're going to double click it. Okay, you'll get this brown outline. You're going to go to pretty much any square. I'm just going to go to this one here, this little small square here. You're going to put your cursor over it, Command Option Shift on your keyboard, and you're going to bring that into the center till it hits the edge. That's going to resize the image. And then basically, you're going to do that for each of the squares. And the picture, it can be whatever you're planning to put on Instagram. So go over to the square, cursor over it, Command Option Shift, and bring it into the center. Highlight the box, Command D, find a picture, double click it, go to a square, Command Option Shift, and bring it into the center. And there you have your final 9 images. So I'm just going to do Option Command 0, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to press W on the keyboard, and that gets rid of, excuse me, gets rid of any guidelines or margins, anything like that, or any blue outlines. And then you can see it. And then what I'm going to do is highlight all of it, then I'm going to group it. So again, Command G, go to a corner, Command Option Shift, and then just make that a little bit bigger so I can see all my images. Now, this to me is looking pretty good, but I purposely put in this picture here because it's not quite right. So what you can start to do is, for any images that you're putting together, if you see that an image looks out of place, just go into your editing software. So for example, I use Lightroom, and you would be able to make the adjustments there. So I'm going to go about doing that now. So I've just brought my image into Lightroom. Ignore the fact it's a JPEG. I may have slightly screwed up on the shoot, but that's for another time. So what we're going to do, we're in our develop part of Lightroom. First off, I'm just going to rotate it, and then I'm going to put on the preset that I tend to use for Lightroom. Now, straight away, it's just not looking quite right. So I'm just going to make my adjustments. I'm not going to end up using this picture anyway, I'm just using it as an example. So if it doesn't look quite right, it's not going to be used, but hopefully it can try and get my point across that when you put your grid together, if one picture looks slightly off, you can adjust it, and then you'll be able to fix your grid. So I'm just going to go about editing it as best as I can to look as if it could fit in the grid. But again, this is just an example. So, as you can start to see from the original picture and what I've just quickly edited, you can start to see that there's a lot more blues happening and a bit of orange, and that actually looks quite a bit different to what is on here right now. So it's a lot greener, and as I said, not a big fan of green. So basically, just took all that green out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to export the image, and I'm going to overwrite what I've already done, so that I can change the image and swap it out straight away. From here, you want to go to choose, and then you're going to go to the location that that original image is in. Then as soon as you click that, you can click export, and then you'll get this up. And what this is to tell you is if you want to create a copy of the image, or if you want to overwrite the image. And what we want to do is overwrite the image, so that when we go back into InDesign, it will change it straight away. And then we would be able to see the differences between the old picture, which didn't look quite right, and the new one. So I'm going to click overwrite. And that's going to do its thing. It's going to export it. Let's wait for that to do it. There we go, all done. Then we're going to go back into InDesign. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go over to our links panel. And again, if you don't have links, go to Window and click Links. But because I already have it, it's already there. You'll see there's an exclamation mark coming up, and that means the image has changed, which is good. That's exactly what we want. So all you're going to do is go over to here and click this update link icon. You click that, it's going to change it straight away. And then that fits more in line with the rest of the pictures. It's not perfect, it's just an example. I didn't end up using that picture anyway. But the comparison between the two, what you can do to see the comparison is do Command Z. And then to go back to the previous, the image that we just edited, to change this one, do Shift Command Z. So we're going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. You can start to see that it just fits a little bit more in line with everything else. Do Option Command 0, and that is our grid. So that's how I get my feed to look as consistent as possible, and with these quick tips, I hope you can start to do the same too. If this was of any interest to you, then please like and subscribe for more InDesign content. I've got plenty more to talk about. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you in the next one. Cheers guys.